If you can see me, say hi. If you can see me and hear me clearly, hello, hi. Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you. I see you guys are here waiting for us to start. How are you doing today? How are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? Let me know in the chat. How are you feeling today? How's today? It's a Friday. Are you feeling exhausted? Are you feeling energetic? I'm feeling energetic. I'm feeling energetic and I'm hopeful and I'm just excited to be here. How is everyone else feeling? I don't know if it's I don't know if it's my network. It's definitely not my network. Okay. Oh, Fatima, you're feeling exhausted and sleepy. Oh, please borrow from my energy. I'm transporting my energy to you. Please, I'm so sorry. You must have had a long day at work. And thank you so much that even though you're exhausted, you are able to tune in today. Thank you to you and everyone else. And I know that we're going to have a great time today learning. Once again, welcome to sTaRt 2026, the virtual edition. We started on Wednesday. That was day one. We learned a lot from the speakers from day one. The same happened in day two. And the same also happened in day three. Right. So the same also happened. I'm already speaking in like foreshadowing, right? But yeah, our hope is that today we are going to also have a great time, just like the previous days, learning from our speakers. I can tell like one of our speakers is already here. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We'll get started, and we're glad that you guys could join us once again. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Tabitha Kavu. You can call me Tabby, you can call me Tabs. And I'm with the Our School team community manager here at Alt School Africa. And it's our honor to be facilitating with me. I'm joined by my colleague. You can't see her right now, but you'll see her later. Her name is Darren. She'll be joining me later on throughout the the sessions we're going to have today. So just to look at what we have lined up for today, we have 6 sessions. Each speaker is going to say roughly take 25 minutes each. Um, we have the first session for today, which is moving from execution to agency in the era of agentic AI, which is going to be facilitated by Gideon. He's going to be coming up shortly. We have another session about, the whole conversation about generalists and specialists, who owns the AI, right? Is it the generalist or is it the specialist? Okay. And we also have another session about data. We had one yesterday. Today we get to listen and learn from a different speaker. And also, how do we get to build career-ready skills in this AI fast world? And then we also have a breakout session for the engineers, like code quality as a culture. There's a separate link for this breakout session. So during this time in this webinar, we are going to be having the session by John. Are you using AI or designing it? And then the devs in the house, the software engineers, would not have a separate session, because yes, because it has to be separate. Yeah. For this main webinar, we're just going to be focusing on sessions that are relevant and applicable to everybody. Yeah, so once again, welcome to sTaRt Conference Day 3. We are so glad that you could join us. I'm just going to go straight and call on the first speaker for today, who is Gideon. Um, and Gideon is going to, talk to us about you moving from execution to agency in the era of agentic AI. So I want to start seeing claps. Can we start clapping for Gideon as he comes, on stage? Let's clap for him until we see him. Let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. I'm just going to give a short, I'm going to give a short introduction of who Gideon is, and then he's going to handle the rest. He is an AI and machine learning engineer with work experience in sectors like fintech, banking, and healthcare. He currently works at FCMB and is at 4X AWS community builder for machine learning, where he's involved in the AI ecosystem, sharing knowledge and driving community growth. So we are going to be learning from an AI engineer, someone who is already like in the field. Okay, so let's just give him a few minutes to join. Hi, Gideon. So let me see if everything is okay on his side, because I can see that he's here with us. Few minutes. Minutes. Okay, I can see him. Okay. Hello, Gideon. But let me confirm that everyone can hear my screen so that I'm not the one with the issues here. Okay, we've said this before that it's when we're having tech events, that's when we have technical issues here and there. If you can hear me, please say yes. Let me confirm that everything is okay from my end. Okay. 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 Thank you, peace. Thank you, peace. So I can see Gideon. Okay. Let's just it's just
Hello.
okay. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Is everything okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Okay. So we are waiting for you.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we did like a whole introduction. We clapped our hands. We were waiting for you. We're waiting for you. Like, when is it going to show up? When is it going to show up?
oh, okay. It's fine. I can go, but sorry, I think I wasn't sure mine was 5:30, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I thought I saw 7:30. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'll be sharing my screen in a minute. Sorry for that, the delays and all that. Thank you. Where is this?
Peter, are you good or should we take another speaker?
Um, maybe take another. I'm so sorry because I'm trying to like
Okay.
if that works, I could go next instead.
Okay. 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 All right. That's fine. Um, I see we have John already here. Hello, John.
Yeah,
Good evening. Good evening, John. Are you able like to take the session? Since Gideon is not able to like start because of the interest of time. We
can
have,
you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, now you can hear me.
Yes.
Oh, okay, interesting. Is it audible enough or?
Yes, it's audible for me. Guys, let
Okay,
us know in the chat. Is it audible? Let us know yes or no. Is it audible enough? Right, it was perfect for me. Okay, yeah, it's good. Yes, it's good. Yeah. If it's okay, then we can start with you then.
sure. I can get started. Okay, I will share my screen and we get started with it so that we don't have any further delay in
Yes.
this. So share my screen quickly. Okay, uh, I'm also going to put my camera on so that we can get started. So just confirm that everything looks okay, everything is perfect, and then we can get started.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a great job you guys have been doing, and I appreciate that. So today we will proceed. I've been following and I've watched some of the videos of um, what we've been discussing so far, and I'm going to take it up from there. Uh, Today we'll be looking at if you are using AI or you're designing AI. I mean, in the current day and time and the time we live in right now, everyone is actually using AI. But before I proceed, let me introduce myself. My name is John Olaoye. I'm a data and AI specialist at DP World. At DP World, we just maintain ports for countries. So my company is across major, ports across the globe. And again, I have to put a disclaimer that this is my own representation. I'm not representing my company here. So let's get started. I'm sure you can see my screen, and in the content of today, we will be looking at the spectrum, both ends, which talks
Sorry.
about the using
Hello,
of
Mr.
AI.
John. I
Sorry,
can't
please.
I
Can you
can't
hear me?
yes, but I can't see your screen. Are you guys seeing the screen? I want to confirm if it's just me.
You can't see my screen? And
Yeah,
now?
now you're sharing. Okay, yes, now you're sharing.
Now you can see my screen. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So today we'll be looking at the spectrum of two ends, which I believe each and every one of us are already in one end. And then we'll be looking at how we probably get into the other end, which is designing AI. So we'll be talking about using and designing AI. We'll be talking about how we are going to involve AI in mission critical systems or infrastructure. And then we take some few lessons, and then what mindset shift do we need if we are going to move from designing to moving from using AI to designing AI itself. and some few takeaways. And then if we have questions, and if time permits us, but I will try as much as possible to keep to time as we have been advised to do. So I believe today, as of today, every one of us must have interacted one way or the other with an AI somewhere along the line today. So which means each and every one of us are actually using AI. The level to which we are using AI might differ, but 100%, I can tell you, anyone that is at least my age and below, I know are actually using AI in one form or the other. The good news about using AI in the day and time that we are in right now is that it is already boosting our productivity. Things that we struggled to do before, we can now do them easily. We can easily now experiment on things that we require experts to do them. Right now, we can quickly use AI. We can prompt any AI at our disposal to test it out, different concepts, and people actually also making money out of just prompting or using AI. But when we do this, we have pitfalls in just using AI, because what we are using is like a black box that some of us don't even know what it entails at the back end, what kind of data is being collected, what is being used, what are they using this data for, and all of those we don't know. But one way or the other, we are using it anyway, and it's fine. Everybody's happy about it. So we can't control what comes out of what we prompt, but depending on how good you are in your prompting, you can be able to get, a reliable output, but sometimes we get unreliable output. So these are the common pitfalls that we face when we just use AI. I have a case of a colleague that is trying to do some planning, and it took some, key points of the operations he does, so that it can prompt ChatGPT to give him a plan of how some containers are supposed to move around when they land at the port. Unfortunately, the plan did not go well, and some senior colleague asked him, those things you do, you guys are now using, that you put all your trust in, is going to definitely disappoint you if you don't try to, bake it properly. So this is where now designing AI comes into play. So, and to bring it home for those who are not really technical or are not in the logistics field, you will see an example I've listed here, I mentioned here, which is about a marketing team using AI for content idea. These are bare minimum stuff that we have very low risk, It's very low risk. If I generate a content with AI and did not go the way I want, I can easily switch it or change the words or, try to reward it myself so that it fits the kind of thing I want to deliver. A student trying to do analysis on their school projects, you can quickly create a analytics dashboard quickly with AI, and you're using it, it's fine. Those are good, but because the risk is very low, right? So that is good. But when we talk about designing AI, and in critical systems like ports or critical infrastructure like ports, now that changes the perspective of how we use it now, or how we design that system now changes. And in this case, as you can see here, I will be talking about the building or customizing AI with structure for trust and scale. In this case, when we talk about structure and scale, I will give some examples, okay? For structure And for you to build a system that can be trusted, it means you reducing the hallucination of what AI tells you. Let's think about you getting an AI agent that has been designed for you to help you invoice your customers. If this AI agent, for some reason, makes or keeps making mistake on the invoice that is issued to customers, for once, I mean, you will just have to probably pack it, right? So when we are designing AI, we are designing it for trust. We are designing it for scale. We are designing it so that it's not something that it's just anything you're building and just to handle low risk. So when you're designing or when you're building or you're customizing AI, it has to be with structure that is for trust. I'll go to the second point, which means in the use case of where we have been using AI practically, and which is what myself and my team probably also designed within the port environment before I go to the critical use case of an example that I want to use. So when we design an agentic AI for in a use case where we have trucks that are coming to pick their containers that are ready for delivery. You know, in the past, when these containers get to the port, they are directed, you know, by human, or they are given some kind of map to track or to know to what yard position they are supposed to go pick their containers. But as it stands right now, we have designed some AI agentic models that can actually capture the camera, because we already know this truck is coming and it has been registered against a particular truck that is coming to pick that container. Agentic AI currently now can now pick the camera through the ANPR camera, which is the automatic number plate registration camera that is at the gate, and be able to identify which truck or which container is this truck coming to pick at this time, you know, based on the appointment that it had. And this agentic AI is going to locate that container's position in the yard, guide the driver up to the point where this container is located, and be able to, you know, serve that customer. This is now what already is happening, you know, with the help of AI. Now, this again is a very critical situation, because you don't want to design an agent that will mislead, and because every misleading of the truck driver creates chaos, you know, in the terminal, and you want to reduce such. And now I want to go to a very critical use case that is currently, in fact, making wave in the industry right now, is in the use case of these ports in China. And I will pause a little bit here so that you internalize the picture that I have here on the screen. I will pause for some seconds so you internalize this. Good. I believe you've seen one or two things here that stands out. You probably have seen this crane, and also you must have also noticed that we have these objects here that are called AGVs, which is the automated guided vehicles. These are top-notch technology that is being controlled by AI, right? This port is called, I think, is Qingdao in China. You know, this port has a nickname called Ghost Port. It's called Ghost Port because there is no human, as you can see here. The AI plans the vessel berthing, right? And then this same AI plans the dispatching of containers from this vessel through the crane to the AGVs, and from the AGVs, it plans also where these AGVs are going to position the containers in the yard. As you can see here, this is already a very critical infrastructure that is being already automated with the help of AI and automation and data-driven AI in general. So if you look at this type of situation, you would see that there is no room for mistakes here. There is no room for, designing something that is not going to follow guided principles here. So when in this case, we are not talking about just using AI now, but we are already designing it to handle, things that humans are supposed to be handling, and it is doing it perfectly. And in fact, according to the information out there, this port efficiency is 13 times more than the normal or average ports out there. So you can already see that AI is already guiding us and helping us. Now we are sitting back to ensure that it is just designed properly to fit the kind of efficiency that we need. So without wasting our time, I'll go further to talking about the principles that should guide us, or the lessons we can learn from the implementation of this type of AI guided ports in our own projects, whether we are building just agentic models that can work within a CRM or an agentic model that can work within an e-commerce. But what are the things that are important that we need to consider when we are developing critical systems that AI is going to take control of? So when we look at this, we are talking about some of the lessons that we can gather from these critical systems that is being developed or that is being used currently right now. Whenever you are designing a system for AI, there are cases already right now that we have where AI is also experiencing, or AI systems are also experiencing injection currently right now. Just like back in the days when we have the SQL, even currently we still have some of those cases where we have database injection through SQL injection. Currently right now, we have similar cases where systems are being prompted, AI agents are being prompted, and they are exposing the systems that they are supposed to collaborate with. They are exposing the architecture. They are exposing them to hackers to have access to the systems. This is probably maybe some security features are not probably designed well according to when you are building the systems. This could be one reason. So when we are designing AI for critical systems like what we saw in the picture of Gendao, it is important that we bake in safety first in everything. Safety in terms of the infrastructure that you're going to use, safety in terms of even the physical activity of these AI guided systems. For instance, if a vessel is supposed to berth, the AI system is supposed to be able to understand, is it safe to berth that that vessel or whatever system you are developing, is it safe for human? Before you proceed, or in your design, you have to consider this. The second point here, we see the combination of AI and real world use. In this case, you have to also understand that in as much as AI has data that it can use to make decisions, there are some real world rules that might beat this AI knowledge. So you have to bake this in. And I'll give an example. If, like in a case that I was reading while I was preparing my note here, is a case where if the vessel is bathing and the AI has already made plans that the vessel is supposed to bath, for instance, in a bath, and bath is actually where we anchor the vessel. So when you hear bath, is the place where the ship is anchored before operations start on it. So if the AI could plan that I will put this ship in bath 1, and there are some containers that requires power, but bath 1 physically does not have power. If you are designing these rules, this AI agent is supposed to also act in real world to be able to understand what is going on. And which brings about the idea of putting an hybrid kind of a connector where the AI itself can use previous historical data and some physics rules that applies to the activity that it wants to implement at the point in time. Another important point here is when we talk about testing, we cannot underestimate the power of thoroughly testing for unexpected use cases where things might go wrong. There is no way we can take this out of our design principles. So we have to really test thoroughly, because when we talk about critical missions, this is either where we are going, it might affect human life, it might interrupt economic scenario where it's going to interrupt the economic activities that is going on within where the AI is going to be used. In fact, it might interrupt in terms of the safety of those who are actually using the tool itself. So we have to test all edge cases and exceptions properly before deployment. In fact, also another good point that came to my mind right now is revenue loss in terms of wrong. I don't know, maybe you're deploying an agentic AI that should invoice your customer, the example I gave earlier, and it has been under invoicing your customer. I mean, no one will be happy for such kind of a solution. So, and in terms of the safety, that takes us to where the next point, which is about to keep human in the picture, which means depending on how critical the system you're designing, there should be room where if AI, instead of hallucinating, should be able to reverse back to call for human help. This design is very important. We have some systems that we use currently where trucks, instead of humans loading the truck directly, like a truck driver comes to pick a container in the yard, the remote system, we have a remote system that loads the container automatically. When the truck gets to the point, after the AI has led it to the point where it's supposed to pick the units, the RTGs, that is the rubber tire, the gantry, tries to load that container on the truck, where the locks, for example, are not able to key in properly, should be designed in such a way that it should prompt human from the interface for support. So human keeps an oversight on this system. You have to design in this way so that human are involved in cases where, like the exceptions we mentioned, instead of AI hallucinating that would create safety issues or loss or whatever will be out of control later, there should be human in the picture to support on this. And then there is need for governance. I mean, it's very important that anything that is being used need to be audited, need to know how it is performing, need to be guided by rules and things that will keep it in check so that it does not go out of control. And that will take me to the mindset shift. Although, like I mentioned earlier, each and every one of us, one way or the other, already interacted with AI. In fact, it is now a thing of shame if you don't have an AI tool that can help you on something in the workspace, in the work environment right now. The first question everyone looks at you when you ask a question right now is, what does this mean? They expect you to use AI to get that idea. So currently right now, when we look at these features from the extreme left, and then we can compare it with the mindsets of using AI and designing it, you would see that the focus of using AI is to quickly, get fast ideas. This is good for students, for businesses. How best can I put content? What content can help me do this? And all of those, things that you need to do real quick. And I mentioned earlier, testing ideas and getting things done very fast. Using AI is perfect for all of these. And when it comes to designing AI, like the agentic examples that I gave earlier also, and our engineers, right, when they are building this solution, you need to put in place the safe scale. So your thinking is, how safe is what I'm doing, and how can it, ensure that I don't create chaos with my solution. Rather, my solution helps the business to probably make good sales and bring good customers, get revenue, optimize operation, and things like this. The risks are very high when it comes to the risk level. When it comes to using AI, it's okay. The risk, when I'm brainstorming, I can test an idea and it doesn't work. But I can give an example of myself actually where I have prompted AI and I was preparing for an exam and I asked my ChatGPT to look at everything I have decided I've been doing, working on with my timeline and everything, and advise me how long it will take me to prepare for an exam. And I can tell you that result was not something good because it's overestimated that I am sharper than the number of time it gave me to prepare for that exam was too little, So the risk, although, I mean, it gave a wrong timeline for me, I adjusted it because I understand myself and things like this. But when the risk is very high, when the risk level is high, I mean, I can accommodate. It's okay, no problem. It gives you the result. You don't care. It's okay. You can adjust it. But when you are designing, the risk is lower because you have to make sure it's of something that is the precision at this level. You have to ensure that you design it to precision, especially for operations, like I mentioned earlier. If you are designing that a container, an AI agent is supposed to lead a truck driver that doesn't know your port environment to where it's supposed to pick its container, and you have also automated the RTG, or that is the rubber tire gantry, that is supposed to load that container, the sync between these two systems create chaos. So this is definitely going to take something of higher precision, which means you don't have much chance when you're designing. So you have to think deeply on how this affects the users. When we are using AI, we don't need much explanation. Like when I go to my Gemini or I'm using anything, I just put in my stuff. AI gives me whatever results. I take it like that, But when it comes to when we are designing, we need to be able to display, the thinking capacity. How did you arrive at this decision? Based on what data did you use? We can be able to trace it. We can be able to understand this decision. Should I override it, or is it reliable? When we are designing, it is very important to incorporate this also. And this is the mindset we should have when we are designing, so that it's transparent for the users. They can be able to understand what they are using and how they can rely on it. Testing, I mean, when you prompt your AI, like the example of myself that I gave, it's very easy for me to test it. It's very easy for me to check. Does this work for me or not? Is this content good for my brand or not? It's easy. But in real world, we have to simulate. We have to test. We have to do a dry run. We have to see if it's going to fail on edge cases that I mentioned earlier. We have to do a thorough test to ensure that the design that we have does not fail us. And then the integration, I mean, majority of the time when we use these tools, they are standalone tools, prompt ChatGPT, prompt Grok, or whatever tool that you're using. It gives you feedback. They are just single tools. But like I mentioned, in the example of a truck driver coming to the port for the first time, we have to integrate it to different systems, which means my AI agent will communicate with different systems. The good news is that every software company right now are already ensuring that they build or design in the ability of AI agents to interact with their system. So, I mean, this is one big part, integration. So when you are designing your own system also, you have to incorporate how does it interact with other systems and how reliable is this integration going to look like. And in human role, I mean, in the case of using AI, it's just a passive stuff. You put it, you don't get involved in whatever output it's going to give to you. But when it comes to designing, you are an active partner. You are involved in ensuring that the decision made by this system is not going to affect users. So you are an active partner. You look at when it prompts you back, what decision should I make here? You can be able to guide it so that it learns from you and then it can make better decision next time. So we will look at the key takeaways. The key takeaways here are very straightforward, as you can see. You just need to, maybe for students who are still learning, who are trying to get into the space, the thing is, there are a lot of tools out there, a lot of models out there. So feel free to experiment with free tools. Feel free to build simple test cases or simple use cases that you can, learn from, or you can use to build your skills, right? Also, you can prioritize the user-friendly interface and hybrid setup in the example I gave earlier. So it's easy to interact, to get feedback from the AI while it is doing its stuff. You can get a feedback for human support. It's very important to do that. And I mentioned also that the governance is very important to govern the data that the AI is giving to us is reliable. And then this is very, very key. Like in our own case or in my own case, we started with just using the agentic AI to guide truck drivers to where the port is located, where their container is located. So these are a bit low risk kind of, where if a driver is being misguided, we can easily ensure that the AI gets to know the right thing to do. So it's a low risk pilot project. So you can start with that. And then we keep assessing, right, the risk of using this AI that we have designed. What is the risk of this AI in our project? You have to put the risk, and then when you are designing, you have to also design it that it is scalable. It's something that can be, that can be improved upon. And then we have to highlight designed AI benefits. This is for those who are trying to pitch their products, right? When you've designed something for users, always ensure that the benefits, it's clear. the benefit of what you've designed is clear. Your agent should not be an all-rounder agent that can do everything. You should be focused. You should be able to explain to your customer, and that builds trust on the solution that you have designed. And I think for me to close, and then we move to where we can ask question. So whether you are launching a startup or you are trying to just analyze data interacting with AI and trying to just get used to it, what I'll say is AI currently right now is no longer for experts. You have to get involved. You have to be part of those that are building it. And for you to make the most out of it, you have to make it very reliable, and you have to make it rewarding. It's worth whatever you are bringing, and you have to ensure that the solution you have provided is not just for the sake of using AI, but it is designed to solve a problem. I'll be stopping here, and I also like to maybe in comments or in questions that you may be having. So thank you for having me, and I would like to open the floor now for questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, John, for that session. You really took your time to just take us through, designing the AI systems. So for the sake of, time, what we can do is we ask them to drop the questions in the Q&A. And then, when you see them, you can answer them, or when we have time, we can call you to answer. Because if we wait for them to drop them, it will take a lot of time. So we can make sure that we maximize on the other session as well. So guys, if you have questions for Mr. John, just drop them in the Q&A, and you can add there that this is for John, right? So that he can see it. He can either respond to it. If he's still here, we can also take the conversation like after this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So moving on to the next speaker, we have the session on the death of the pure specialist, why the generalist owns the AI era, and the person facilitating this is Daniel. Daniel is a developer community manager and software engineer with over 4 years of experience, spanning front-end development and quality assurance engineering. He bridges technical execution with community strategy to create spaces where developers can learn, collaborate, and thrive. And I'm really curious to, just hear about this session, like who are these generalists, who are these specialists, and why these generalist people on the AI era? Over to you, Daniel.
All right, thank you very much, Tabby. Please confirm that you can hear me and you can see me.
Yes, I can see you. Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, so I'm excited to be here. I'm just going to go ahead and try to share my screen, confirm when my screen.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Moran, like Tabby mentioned. I'm here to talk about the death of pure specialists and why the generalist owns the AI era, right? I'm sure we've heard this say that says jack of all trades, master of none. And I think I am also quite guilty, or I've experienced that part of not being just a pure specialist and being like a generalist over the course of my career. So I figured that in the now era of AI, are you sure you want to be a pure specialist, or you want to actually be a generalist that can pick up several things across board? So let's get into it. My slides are not a lot, so I'm just going to be doing like a lot of talking, and I hope at least this session helps you in one way or the other. So let's get into it. Like we said, my name is Daniel. I'm a community and program manager. I currently work at Enata as a community manager, and I decided to come talk to you about this. So a bit of context, right? the whole playbook says, pick one thing and become the best at it. I remember while growing up, my father would tell me, if you're going to be a taxi driver, be the best taxi driver in town. If you're going to be a cook, be the best cook in town. Just pick one thing and be good at it. And I mean, you go to university, you spend 10,000 hours, you get your master's degree, you get your certification, and then you begin to niche down. Yeah, that's why we have people who are called professors, right? Professors are masters at the particular. So if you have a professor of software engineering, which means that the person is well grounded and has very enough knowledge about about software engineering or whatever the case is, right? And I mean, for a long time, this was like the path to career security. You see people who have worked at places for 30 to 45 years. I mean, from the beginning of their careers to the end of their careers, and they're retired. I mean, it's all great and good, right? And it's not a bad thing, right? I mean, it's a very good thing to just pick one thing, be good at it, and be awesome at it. It's very, very good because at that point in time, when you're working, nobody has anything to say about it because they believe that whatever you say is good, right? That's like the whole thing. But now in 2026, does that still work? I mean, we look at how things have come from 2023 when ChatGPT came out. Now everybody's talking about AI, AI, AI. Now, what I think about AI is how can you make AI work for you? How can you make it better? How can you make it speed your work faster? And people often think that, oh, AI is going to come and take everybody's jobs. Is it? Maybe, maybe not. How can you take the hold of it? How can you make sure that you're playing it safe and you're not going to be on losing end in this AI era? So let's get into the next slide. So what changed? November 2022, I mentioned on your ChatGPT launched and everything changed. AI didn't just automate tasks, it democratized expertise. Certainly, anyone could be a specialist level knowledge in segments. I mean, before now, for example, I have background in software engineering. In early 2019, 2020, when I started writing code, right, when you have a bug in your code, you go and sit to Stack Overflow and read a bunch of stuff, do a bit of research here and there before you finally find out what exactly is going on. But now AI makes your work faster, you automate tasks, you literally, I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've practically been working with AI every day and I've built several projects that I'm just trying just to AI what to do. So imagine somebody who is like a developer who just has a good way, knows how to communicate with and decides to work with AI and everything, right? I mean, they might not be they might not be experts, but I mean they have a specialist level skill, knowledge, and all those things. Because why? AI is able to help people get knowledge faster and quicker. Right? That's what changed like that. Now, I went to school yesterday to talk about a couple of kids about tech, and I asked, what is one app that is solving problems for them? I guess what they charge you can see, right? Everybody's using ChatGPT these days. Right. So now, what's the specialist dilemma? If you're a specialist, you will know that if your value is I know things others don't, AI just commoditize your career, right? Pure specialists are trapped in a shrinking mode. Knowledge alone is no longer a competitive advantage, right? Your knowledge alone is not longer competitive if it is something that is now accessible to everybody, right? Because everybody can just go on their phones, make a bunch of research with AI, and they have the knowledge that you have, right? And they can use it. Right? And this is something that you most likely spend years learning. I mean, if you attended art school, you spent almost like a year in learning, and then now you're diving down, and then 2 years down the line, you have 3 years experience and to start. So, and we're in 2026 now. Imagine what will happen when we're in 2030. What would have come about AI at that point, right? So, your knowledge is not any longer the competitive advantage, right? So, you can't say, oh, I knew it all, because you never can tell what AI will come for next. AI has come for software engineers, AI has come for designers, AI is already making short movie clips. So you never can tell what's going to happen next. Now, what AI does better than if AI codes in maybe 20 languages now, AI um, has a bunch of stuff called legal research. It has gone through 1,001 cases. AI can do financial modeling. It can do a bit of medical diagnosis. It can do marketing copy. It can do design. AI doesn't get tired. AI doesn't forget skills differently. And because the fact that we keep feeding it more data every day, keep using it, there's new models coming out. So it gets better over time. I mean, when ChatGPT first came out, it was shit, right? It did not do anything at all. It was just basically always hallucinating. If you try the new, what did you just release? Signal Post 4.6, it is very, very good, right? So it doesn't get tired. It doesn't have, sometimes when you're trying to work, you don't have like enough brain power at that point in time, and you want to sleep and come back to it, right? AI don't get tired easily, right? It doesn't forget once it assimilates it, it already gets in your system. Now, we already know that AI does these things better than us currently. So how do we move forward? Sorry. So now, what AI cannot replace? AI doesn't have enough context, and AI doesn't know the right questions to ask. AI doesn't understand nuances. AI cannot build relationships. AI cannot navigate ambiguity, and AI cannot also make judgment calls without complete information. So you can make a judgment, right, based on the information you have. But if AI doesn't have enough context, it becomes a problem. And these are the superpowers you as a journalist want, because you are not now just having your knowledge, whether in software engineering, whether in design, whether in product management. You already have these skills, right? You have this, and because you also have these skills that AI cannot do, where it makes you a generalist, and then you can now use this, you can now utilize this in whatever you're doing. So that means that you're a software engineer, that doesn't mean that's particular contracts, you might want to send NDAs and a bunch of stuff. Doesn't mean that you can't ask AI to, you understand the context, right, of what AI is trying to, of what you're trying to do, right? And you feed it to AI to say, hey, I'm about to send this contract. What do you think of it? But even at that point in time, even if AI is saying the wrong thing, because you have the right idea, you have more context, you know when these guys are listening to me, this guy is saying something that doesn't make sense. Right. Now, what is the new successful? The old model says you are deep in one area. Now, the new model is your competence in 3 to 4 areas. Right? So T-shaped, M-shaped, right? So you need to now be more grounded in 3 to 4 areas, not just one. So now it means that yourself and AI together, you come together, you're unstoppable, right? Because you're using AI to your advantage. You're not you're not saying that you want to stay in that one area of expertise. Okay, this is what I know how to do. I know how to do design. These days, how many people are still really doing designs? I could spin up stuff by myself just with my AI. I mean, we all work in companies, right? Where you have your designer trying to get you something, or you want to get something from your designer, and they are not delivering. You could just lose people. But I have had like so many examples of, I work with engineering teams, and then, you know, people like to do shakara. If you're in Nigeria, you know what shakara is, right? So imagine my engineering team is supposed to help me with something and get to access some amount of data and all of those. And they're taking time. And you know what? Can I get the API for this thing? I got the API. I spoke it up with AI, and I got it right. And I understood what they were saying. Right? It took me a bit more time, but I was able to figure it out. That's because I'm trying to expand into the new model, right? To the M-shaped model, being competent across 3 to 4 areas, and that's making me unstoppable. It's making me to pick up my deliverables faster, making me drop my submission faster and move on to the next thing. So who is winning right now? The designer who codes, the marketer who understands data science. When if you're a marketer, you deal with data. The engineer who can sell. Right? There isn't AI to punch above their weight class. One person in the company does what it used to take 2 teams. And at this point in time, your companies will only retain those who are actually creating value. If you're not creating value, you will not retain them. You'll see all of these companies are doing mass hiring. I mean, I don't know if any company has done mass hiring here, but even before AI came on board, right, there was a lot of mass hiring, different top global firms. So imagine now in the era of AI where people can do multiple things, right? So before you take one person, you have to have technology. Now, it is better you broaden your knowledge. It's better to have more knowledge about other things, right? And then combine together. That combining together makes you unstoppable, right? Now, what is the learning paradox? AI makes learning new skills 10 times faster. People will keep learning. People will keep learning, pull for that ahead. So as far as you're curious, right? Curiosity is now the ultimate competitive advantage. You know, before your knowledge was the competitive advantage, but now curiosity is the new competitive advantage, because if you're curious enough, you can learn so much faster than usual. Right? AI will make you AI will help you become a faster learner, help you do your tasks very much better, right? Now, what skills matter for now as a generalist, not uh, sorry, all right, sorry about that. So, what skills matter? Prompt engineering, cross-functional thinking, systems design, storytelling, product and rapid prototyping. Right, these are the skills that make sense. You need to be able to prompt your AI. A lot of people don't even know how to use AI properly because they're not given enough context. So imagine you're trying to build something, right? And you're just saying, "Hi, I want to build a website that has this." You're not giving it enough context. You're not thinking about the design of how we want it to look like. You're not making it a you're not giving it enough context to make it work, and then it brings out one thing that is not supposed to enough. But in a scenario whereby you're able to prompt properly, you're able to do conversational thinking, you're able to understand how storytelling works, what makes sense when it comes to products and prototyping. The ability to spot these patterns and connect insights across domains is what matters now. Now, what's your action plan? And pick one adapting skill and use this one to learn. I mean, I like that this conference is happening at the beginning of the year, so you have enough time for it. Use something that combines two of your skills and stop saying that's not my job. Start saying I can figure it out. I know there's always a mixture. Sometimes you don't want to move into something new or you're scared of starting something new, but start it. You might not even get to use it right. When I talk to people about my career, I started with front-end engineering. I moved into community. While I was doing community, I moved into quality assurance. When I was going to move into quality assurance, I didn't know what quality assurance was. I didn't like it. I didn't think that was that. But I joined, I did. And one way or the other, these skills have helped me become a stronger candidate for jobs, right? When I'm applying, I'm able to say, okay, I understand this, I understand those. Right. So my skills end up coming together, they end up helping you become and standing out. I am standing out on top, right? So don't say I can't, that's not my job, or I don't know how it works. Start to say I can figure it out. Spend time learning and putting in the work, and it will always come out favorable for you. So this is the best time to be a generalist. You're not competing with specialists anymore. You're partnering in AI, right? The barriers to entry in every field that collapse. The world builders are not gatekeepers. So your curiosity just became your greatest asset, right? So this is the best time to pick up more skills. It's the best time to say, oh, I want to learn this, I want to learn design, I want to learn code, I want to learn storytelling, I want to learn this. And AI is there to become the better version of yourself. And that being said, do you have any questions for me? Future belongs to a curious person. I hope you're curious enough to leverage AI in 2026 and be the best version of yourself. Questions?
Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you. Let me see if you have any questions at the moment. Do you have any questions? I don't see any questions, but if you have questions, you can drop them in the Q&A. You can drop them in the Q&A, and then Daniel will be able to answer them. Yes.
All right.
So in the interest
Thank you
of
very
time.
much.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. Yes. And please, guys, let the speakers know, how you feel about their sessions. It takes a lot of work to prepare for a session. So it's very important, for them to also get a feel. Okay, was this session? Did the message really hit home? Did you guys get the message? If not, should they go and work harder? You know? Yeah, okay. I'm seeing emojis. Okay, okay. Daniel, you did well. Yes, I see the feedback. I see the feedback. And yeah, but if you also want to connect with Daniel, like on social media, any other questions you may want to ask him personally, Daniel, you can drop your social media handles, either Twitter, whatever you prefer people to reach out to you, and then they can message you from there. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So moving on to the next speaker, we are going to have a session on when data lies. And taking on the session is Felucio, who is a product designer with experience designing platforms and digital systems across education, fintech, government, and consumer technology. She has worked on end-to-end products, including mobile apps, web platforms, dashboards, and internal tools used by thousands of people across Africa. So without wasting much time, let's clap as Felucio joins the stage and takes on the session on when data lies.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, we can hear, we can see you.
Okay. Tell me whether you're acting so humble.
Can
Hi guys. Good evening once again. My name is Felucio Falaranshaw, and I'm a product designer with Hotco Africa. So without further ado, let's get into why we are here. Sorry. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen, please.
Yes.
Is it coming up?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you. So, good evening once again. As I said, my name is Felicia, and I'm a product designer, but I actually love data. I love getting into the world of data. And today we'll be talking about something that sounds quite technical, but it's very human, which is data infidelity. I call it when data lies. You see. So it's essentially giving us an idea of why you shouldn't trust everything, but also actually why not everything is terribly bad, right? So that's me there. So we'll be going through a quick introduction. We'll talk about data quality versus quantity, but also discuss the big data space and how that has influenced decision making when it comes to data management. We'll also talk about data dangers for you as users of AI, and we'll discuss how you can be your own auditor. In other words, to make it safer for you to use. So let me start with this beautiful pyramid here, a framework that makes things quite easier to understand. So this pyramid here shows us from data to intelligence, to what we know as intelligence today. At the bottom, we have the data, then information, then knowledge, and at the top, intelligence. So permit me, my own slide is not following the theme. I'm sorry, I got the memo very late, so bear with my slides. So data on its own is just raw input, as we know. To bring it home closer, for instance, if I say that Indomie noodles, if I just simply say Indomie noodles, that is data. You can tell another person that fully said Indomie noodles. It is logically correct. It's said in English language. You can understand it. It's recognizable, but it does not help you to make any decision, obviously. But if I now say that Indomie noodles cost 300 naira, now we have information. Now it is usable. Now you can tell if anybody asks you, do you know the price of Indomie noodles? You can tell the person that, Indomie noodles is 300 naira. It is information. So if I proceed to say that Indomie noodles cost 300 naira, but another brand like Honeywell costs 200 naira, now we have knowledge. You can compare, you can choose, you can evaluate. It has context within the space of pricing, and it even makes more sense. To take it a notch higher, if I say that the reason the other brand, which is Honeywell, is cheaper, right, is because their distribution costs are far lower than their raw materials, and then they are far lower rather compared to Indomie, and their raw materials are sourced cheaply. Now you can say we are dealing with intelligence. You know the why. You're not just knowing that, okay, it costs 300 naira, it costs 200 naira. You know why it's like that. You can apply that research somewhere else. You can also use it to solve other problems. So in case you have another place that you're needing that research, you can actually use it to solve problems there. So that is the transition from data to intelligence. And that is exactly what the AI industry is trying to accelerate. They're trying to take you from having raw data to intelligence, to move from data to insight as quickly as possible. And why do we think everybody's racing to do that? That's all about money, right? The more we know, the more we can sell. So, because intelligence is monetizable, the faster a company can turn data into predictive insight, the faster it can optimize ads, the faster it can influence behavior, it can automate decisions, or even, generate revenue. I think sometime last year when I'm working with founders, you're talking to people that, they have ideas, even in the market or trying to get into the tech space, most of them will tell you, help me to slot in AI. Just find somewhere there that you can just, put in AI just to do something. The reason is because they want to make money. They want people to come on the platform, actually, go from basic knowledge to something super extra, which is intelligence, or quick. And the quickest one, or the quickest is the one that can be able to send it quickly, and is also being able to be the one to derive from it in terms of value, right? And then these people are pouring in billions and billions of money into collecting, storing, and processing data for just the simple reason. And as they pump more and more, load more data into their system, now they have to filter the system to actually find what is right now. So with the advent of big data, right? The advent of big data, what happens is that there is so much that they are putting into AI. I'm not there yet, that they are putting into AI systems and AI models that many people just make different analysis and assumptions. So many people think that AI thinks for us. You hear people say that, okay, have you asked GPT this? Have you asked Claude this? Because they believe that the information or the thinking they are getting from that particular platform is far superior to what their fellow person is saying, right? Well, in the real sense of the things, it doesn't think for us because it doesn't have a brain, certainly not like human. So what they basically do is that they make predictions using pattern recognition and historical data from what has been loaded into the system. So they will make prediction based on that, on what they believe could be the right thing per question asked or per the situation at hand, right? So whether we like it or not, regardless of how advanced AI feels right now, there is still one principle that still holds from way back that we used to do computer science. It is still garbage in, garbage out. It is what you feed into the system, you're going to get. It could be amplified, it could be much better, but it's still coming out back to you. It's not going to do abracadabra to bring in something from completely different universe, right? So moving on to the next slide. With the outlook on big data, as I said earlier, in order to make this data into intelligence, right? So everybody now wants to funnel in as much data as they can into the system, thinking that, okay, the more data they load into the systems, the more intelligence they can derive, right? Well, in and of itself, it doesn't help much. It can only help if you have so much data, like a really large data set. It can help a bit, but the real trick factor in it is actually the quality of the data you're feeding into the system, and not just the quantity of the data, right? Because having poor data quality can actually lead to what we call hallucinations in AI. I'm sure that a couple of us, we've interacted with our regular AI chatbot, whether GPT or Cloud or DeepSeek, and then you ask it a particular question, and when it is returning the response to you, you can tell that this thing you're telling me, it's not it, right? You can tell that this is outrightly rubbish. It is garbage. It is not it at all, right? Because you know that, okay, this thing, so that's what we call hallucination. And then the reason that maybe many of us have not also experienced some of these things I'm talking about is because of what this chart here is showing us, right? It says that for simple language tasks, error rates might be relatively low, sometimes between -1% to even 7% in like the top performing models, right? That's why your everyday tasks might feel smooth and reliable right now. You just want to ask it, who is the president of Nigeria? Why is this not happening? Why is this not happening? You know, it's still within it's a simple language whatsoever, right? But as the task complexity increases, the error rate also rises. For simple reasoning tasks, the errors can climb to around 15%. Yeah, 15% error rate. For specialized or domain-heavy tasks, it can also approach about 49%. And for complex reasoning tasks, research has shown that hallucination can actually reach really high levels, in some cases approaching 90%, 94%, or even more. So the issue is not just that the error exists, it's the manner it even delivers it confidently to you. It's going to present it to you that this is it. I'm sure we'll have seen memes, you know, different memes that will say, okay, should I eat this? It will say eat it, only to find out that it's poison. I tell you that, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. It will confidently deliver it to you. And if you do not verify, you won't even be able to notice, right? So let's move from theory to like real world consequences, right? So I'm going to give us instances. These instances, examples of times when we've had bad data being thrown into the AI models and how it led to bad decisions that, you know, they were being made. So the outcomes that come out of this is bad, right? Because essentially what we're trying to understand here is the fact that all AI models, even the ones that we are used to and we trust so much like that, you know, in quotes, they are also actually dependent on the actual data that is being filtered into it. It's not bringing the inspiration from heaven or from God. It is the data that is put into it that is amplified, that is made better, refined, and pushed back to you. So the quality of the data that is put in actually determines the outcome, as I said. So the first example here is the resume screening tool. It was a resume screening tool was built and deployed to companies, you know, to help them automate their hiring and HR processes, right? So what happened was that the majority of the data that was used to train that system, it came from a specific tech company, right? And the tech company was male dominated. So what did they feed into the model? The resumes of people that actually worked there in the company. And because most of the employees were men, obviously, the resumes that they fed or that they used to train the system also belonged to men. So when the AI model was eventually deployed and it was being used in real hiring processes, something started happening, right? It was automatically filtering out a large number of applications from people, right? So when the company decided to investigate that what is happening, they discovered something quite troubling. The system was filtering out resumes from women. They knew that they did not explicitly tell it, they didn't code it that to discriminate, to tell it that we don't want women, but because the historical training data that was used, it was heavily male focused. It was the training from the male resumes that they used. So the system was able to learn based on the patterns that male associated resumes were stronger indicators of success, right? So by instinct, the model itself, it was thinking that it did not recognize the data from the women as viable applications for that job. So it was just throwing them off, weeding them off, right? That's one example. Another example is facial recognition systems. I'm sure that most of us are also familiar with how facial recognition works on our phones, right? When you buy a new phone, and then you want to set up your face unlock, right? It will ask you to hold up your phone to your face, tilt it like this, tilt your face, left and right. You should move in different directions. Why? That's because it's capturing the data points of your face, right? The angles, the distance, the contours of your face. It's trying to like key it into the system so that when next you're coming, it can recognize you later and open up to you. So that another person, when another person comes, is going to probably not recognize the person. Sorry. It's not going to recognize the person as human. So it's obviously not going to open. So same way AI facial recognition system work in similar way, but on a much larger scale. So instead of learning just one face, they are trained on thousands or even millions of images of different people. So it's from those images that the system is able to learn patterns, what the eyes look like, what the faces, looks like, your nose structures, is able to relate it to one another from all the data that is gathering. So here's where the problem now came in. When some of those early facial recognition models were trained, the majority of the images used were white men. I don't know. Maybe it's because, they were the one working on AI models then. So it was largely white males that were used to train it. So that means that white males had the most representation in the data set. So when the systems were deployed in the real world, they performed well for the white men. Apologies for the noise, the plane. So, but they significantly struggled with Black individuals and even women, right? It started to misidentify people, right? It wasn't because it was discriminating against them or the system was choosing to ignore certain people. It was because it's simply performing based on what he had seen the most. I've seen this face before. This thing looks like this. Okay, obviously this person or this thing that I'm looking at is not human. That is another example. So now let's look at the third example and the last example. A government wanted to also introduce a new health policy and decided that, okay, they're going to use AI model to predict which demographic, which group of people are going to be able to use that or is going to be useful to them or beneficial to them, right? So they fed the large systems historical data and medical data. And again, there was a problem, which is most of the data that was used to train those people, it came from white patients. I'm talking like this. I'm sure if you were probably in the session yesterday where someone was talking about AI in the African space, right? Talking about how the data that was used to train the system is not, in our own context, blah, blah, blah. So these are also examples showing biases like that. So the data they use, it came from white patients. So when they now finally deployed the system, it significantly underestimated how much Black communities could actually benefit from the program, because it's not as if they're not going to use it or the communities did not need it, but the training data they used did not adequately represent them. So all of these are examples of biases. And what now makes this particular thing interesting is the fact that I have had people who have researched this kind of examples, right? That they believe that these things were done deliberately so that they have their own postulation that the people that were behind this AI model, filtered in this data set intentionally. They felt they did this intentionally so that they could have those bad outcomes. I don't know, but regardless of where you stand, regardless of whether you think that, okay, it was intentional or it's just the data that was available at the time, they didn't include some people, one truth still remains, and it's that whoever controls the data holds enormous power. So like this example, you could tell that if it was someone's deliberate effort to actually do this kind of thing, to actually exclude some people, you can see how it has worked in their favor for what they wanted to do. So moving on, let us also talk about you now. Let's bring it to you now. You can see this card here. This card here is called a user persona or a buyer persona. Some people call it customer journey, something. but regardless of whatever thing you know it has, it's giving information about a user. AI systems are not just analyzing global data sets, they're also analyzing you. It's not just about the data set, they're also analyzing you, right? It creates behavioral patterns. It observes certain things in you, all the search query, the prompt you're even giving to the AI, it's noticing it. Every scroll, every pause, every click that you make, what you ignore, the things you save, what you purchase, right? How long you look at content. These are not random observations. They are actually noting down certain things about you, right? So in terms of danger for you concerning this, in terms of the danger for you, similar to what I said earlier, they would target you, micro-target you, and then use this information they have about you to send you personalized ads. You think that they even have you in mind, right? I'm sure a lot of us will have opened our system or our phone, and immediately what is jumping at us are ads of things that we've probably spoken about, right? They'll tell you, send you political messaging because of the kind of patterns that they know, that they know you follow because of that. If sensational content, it generates higher engagement, right? It's not generating higher engagement because of whether something is true or not. There is this thing, if you open your Instagram, most of the times, for people that use Instagram, well, yeah, most of the times, the first content you're seeing is either from Instablog or from a popular blogger, depending on where your country. It will just be a particular post that is doing so well in engagement, right? It's not particularly because those things are true, but because they have the most engagement, and the algorithm is going to optimize for engagement, not necessarily for accuracy or not. So you might think that what you're seeing is the most important. Oftentimes, you're just seeing what is the most profitable, not what is important per se, like that. So they're going to micro-target you, recommend things to you, content application, amplification, dark patterns. They know that, okay, this time of the night or this time of the day, this person is going to be here. Just use funny ways to be able to get things from you. So imagine if I was behind any of these AI tools, right? And I could tell the people that are dying from cancer, and I was able to know the particular demography that has the most number of these people across the world. All I would just need to do is just to create a drug. It might not even work. It doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to be effective. I just have to create that drug and tell them that it is cancer preventive. Then I'll go to that place and I'll sell it. And they'll buy it because that is what most of them are suffering for. I can relate to their need at the time. And that's why companies want to get to know you so well like that, right? So becoming your own personal auditor, there are some things that you can do to actually secure your data in the world of AI. AI is here to stay. All the sessions we've been having is talking about embrace it. But there are still little things you can do to actually safeguard your own data. First is to become conscious of what you share. Not everything needs to be uploaded. Not every prompt needs sensitive information. There was a particular meme, me myself, I see memes a lot, that someone was saying that just because they wanted to reply email at work, they had to download all their company information for the particular AI tool, just so that it will give them the best response for that email. It might be just, a joke, but I'm sure that most of us, I could be guilty of it, just because you wanted to be able to have enough context about what problem you're trying to solve. You can even just bring files directly from the company, upload to it, check these files. What do I need to do? Blah, blah, blah. So if it's not needed, don't volunteer to share it, right? So secondly, manage app permissions, right? Many of our applications these days, they request access to far more data than they need. Review your settings, restricts unnecessary access, read privacy closures. And third, avoid unsecured public Wi-Fi. When you get to the airports, don't jump to public Wi-Fi or to restaurants. Convenience should not override caution, especially if you're working with a system that has sensitive information, right? And fourth, verify your AI output. They are not your verdict. They're not the final verdict. Treat them as drafts, cross-check things and home. And one other important thing that we should also put in mind is that all of these AI tools, they cost billions and billions of money to create, right? So the fact that they are bringing it to your doorstep for free, it means that something is paying for it. Your behavior becomes a product. Your attention becomes a currency. So nobody's going to want to spend money without actually gaining money again. So if you're not paying with your real money, you're paying for it in another way. Just ensure that you're not paying for it with your privacy, right? So I'm going to run through this. I have so getting the best quality information. Don't make AI your only source of information. Diversify your sources, read books, consult academic research, engage expert opinions, and compare perspective from people. Also understand how algorithms work, basic understanding. So with that, you're less likely to be passively shaped by those things that you're seeing. You know that, okay, what you are saying is just what they want to sell. Also ask AI better questions. For example, I'm going to ask my assistant, I call them assistant, where is this sources? Where did you get this from? Where can I reference? Share me a link to from where you're getting this information so I can go and read and also verify so that I'm not just working blindly. And also remember that bias can exist in three places: in the data itself, in the system, and even in us. Lastly, critical thinking is not optional. So let me close with this. AI is not inherently good. It's not inherently evil also. It's a powerful amplifier. And within the IT space, we used to say something that you just have to take the good with the bad. So when it comes to AI, which is a platform that has an indefinite possibility for good and also possibility for bad, the idea and the responsibility for each of us is to try to minimize the bad as much as possible that we can. Minimize what you do with it in the bad way, and also maximize, amplify the good as much as we can. We may not control the global data set, we may not control the corporate incentives, right? But we can also control our own judgments. And in this world that is continuously being shaped by algorithms here and there, human discernment remains the final filter. So thank you very much. I've come to the end of my session, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my perspective with you today. If there are any questions, I'm willing to take.
All right. Thank you very much, Folusho, for I hope everyone can hear me. Folusho, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much for an amazing presentation. And we love your slides regardless, right? They were very, very, very nice.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. I hope everyone has learned something from Folusho's presentation about when data lies. I think one thing for me that I learned was, be very careful of, the data that you actually give this AI as well, and even the spaces that you use, the things that you use, especially when you mentioned like in airports and in different places, right? Being very careful, of all these things, right? So I hope everyone has learned one or two things. Please, if you have any question for Folusho, like we have said, make sure you drop it in the Q&A section, and you can, specifically tag it to Folusho, or you can also drop them in the chat box as well. She'll be happy to respond to any one of them. And I think, Felicia, you can also share your social media handles as well in the chat box for maybe anyone that wants to connect with you on LinkedIn or anywhere, if you are fine with that, right? And maybe if they want to reach out to you to ask more questions about when data lies. All right. So thank you, everyone. I hope we are still here. So we'll be moving on to the next um session, right? And it's going to be taken by Oluwadamilare Ololade, and he's going to be talking to us about beyond the degree, building career-ready skills in an AI-first world. And Damilare is an international speaker, a UNESCO ambassador, and the co-founder of CEO of University X, and an AI-powered learning platform transforming education across Africa. All right. Hi, Damilare. Are you ready for us? I can see you already sharing your screen. Awesome. Okay, you're muted though. Okay. Yeah, we can hear.
Hi, can everyone hear me now?
We can. Yes, we
All
can.
right.
All right. The
So
floor
I
is
just
yours.
have 25 minutes, so I'll make this definitely worth your time. Okay. Sorry, give me a minute. If you have friends, tell them to join this session. They should not afford to miss this session. So, my name is Damilare Ololade, and in this session, you get to know more about me, but very quick one. How many of you are in university as students right now, or you're graduates? If you're still in the uni, you can drop a comment uni, and if you're graduated, you can put grad. Let me see if I can check the chats. So this is just a quick survey. All right, guys. If you're in uni, let me know if you're in uni. Okay, Victor Damola, grad. That's amazing. Uni. Okay, I can see some uni and grad. All right, that's great. Now let me go back to my presentation. Okay. Okay, I think I'll just close this. I can't minimize this. All right, so the title of my session is Beyond the Degree, Building Career-Ready Skills in an AI-First World. And this topic is such an interesting topic to me because it is something I have lived. And like I said in my presentation, you'll be able to tap into my story and also learn from my experience. So who am I and why should you listen to me? Like my bio was read, my name is Damilare Ololade. I am a computer science graduate. I was also an Ingressive for Good lead ambassador when I was in uni. I'm an international speaker. I've spoken on stages like UN Tourism, GDG, Telcom, and the rest. And lastly, I'm a software developer and also a startup founder. I also try to add these images here just to kind of beautify my slides because I also do a bit of designing. Over here was when we won Alcoholics, Wema Bank Alcoholics. And like I said, in this story, just follow me. Everything would come together to make sense why this topic is beyond the degree. So the art truth from 8 years in tech. So I've been writing code / being in tech for about 8 years now, since like 2019. And if there's something that I've consistently seen is people who build their skills and are on their game, it's always pay at the long run. So on the right hand side, you see pictures of people you might know. This is Ada, Prosper, Samson. You might know some of these people, you might not know them. These are people that in 2018, 2019, we were jumping from Facebook Developer Circle meetups to Google meetups, and we were all trying to like figure out things. And that is why, the first line is your degree won't save you. Whether you graduated with a first class or second class or third class, in this industry, your degree will not save you. Secondly, you still also need to take your degree seriously, especially maybe you want to do a master's. It's very good to have like a very good degree or grade, whatever. But the most important thing is that the skills that you need to build so that you are very competitive in this field. And something else that I also want to specify is that, especially in the age of AI, where it seems like we can always spin up things. For instance, you might not know much about JavaScript and you can build, maybe, which example can I give now? You can build a web application that a senior developer would build, and AI will help you generate this code, and you can hardly read 5 to 10% of this. So my own premonition to you, especially in this age of AI, is that in as much as AI is helping us to do things, it is very, very important that you know the basics and you understand how things work, because in the long run, it would pay for you and it will open doors for you. So my next slide is talking about the complexity trap, and this is something I always tell people. So if you're familiar with the logo on the top, at the top, please signify, especially like Webflow and Bubble. Bubble was even came earlier before Webflow. So Bubble here is, I thought I could I could point, but anyway, Bubble here was an application that promised to make app building very fast. And it started as something that was simple. And over the years, we started having guys called Bubble experts. It's the same thing with WordPress, where over the years, we now have WordPress experts. And as recently as Webflow, Canva, and CapCut, we have people that they can so for instance, if you want to do a simple design, you can whip up Canva and create a design. But I'm sure you'll have seen some crazy designers, permit me to use that word, on social media that they just create something amazing and like, wait, and you use Canva for this? So this is what I mean by the complexity trap. And in life, we observe patterns. And is this pattern that I want you to take into these logos that I listed under? So we're seeing Claude, Lovable, N8N, all these tools doing amazing things. And it's like, God, where am I in all of this? My premonition again to you is that, see, the complexity will always grow, and you just need to understand the core principles of these tools so that you are doing better than the average Joe using these tools. So that is why I listed like the 3 important skills that you need to have. One is the technical skills in your domain, be it front end, back end, system design, whatever it is. You need to make sure that your technical skills are solid. If it's design, that's part of like your skills. The second one is human skills. The thing that is going to really set you apart from people is how to think. So critical thinking, how to make research, how to speak to people. These skills are things that will set you apart from the average person that is using these tools. And lastly is domain skills. That is basically specific in your industry. So let me see how many minutes I still have. So this next slide is how to actually build career-ready skills. And this ADAPT framework is something I came up with, and I'm really proud of it because it sounds really nice, ADAPT framework. So what is this ADAPT framework? It means that A is for auditing your skill. In this age where everything you know yesterday can just disappear, can disappear tomorrow. So we need to frequently audit our skills. Like, so what do I know now? What don't I know? And what do I need to know? Understanding that pushes you to gain knowledge, pushes you to go on YouTube, pushes you to go on learning platforms, pushes you to sign up on Alt School for a course. Did you understand? D is develop that skill. Okay, you already understand that. Okay, I don't probably know how to write backend, for instance. Now I need to develop that skill. I need to take a course. I need to be intentional, which sums back to that 8 years story that I made, where I said I've seen people in this industry, and the thing that differentiates them is the fact that some people are very intentional and also putting in the work, while some were not. The A means apply your knowledge. Okay, you have learned this thing. You have watched a tutorial. Now build something to basically show that you understand what you have learned. P is position yourself. Please don't be part of the people that say LinkedIn is toxic, LinkedIn is this. I'll still telling somebody that, see, I have the best LinkedIn community. And it's not just, I don't have a lot of people always replying to my stuff, but just the 3, 4 people that whenever I post, they will engage. And it's not just maybe about me always celebrating something or celebrating an achievement, or I just write about random things. It's the same thing on Twitter, is the same thing on Instagram. Position yourself, because people so there's a sales quote that says people buy from who they like. KLT, they know, they like, and they trust. And it happens in business. It happens like when somebody wants to hire you, they're like, okay, I trust this guy, he would deliver. And C is track and repeat. Just like I said, the skill you have today can be obsolete tomorrow or next tomorrow. So you need to constantly do this thing over and over and over again. And my last slide, or second to the last slide before questions, is that skills that we should be learning 2026 and beyond. Number one is prompt engineering. And I know how this prompt engineering can sound very basic because there's prompt engineering in development, in design, in video editing, now with remotion. So prompt engineering can seem like very as a blanket statement. But what it means is that you need to understand specific use case for your industry. Number two is AI workflow automation. There are tools like N8N, for instance, Zapier, that can help you make AI automations. And now, just like it's not last week or last 2 weeks, Claude is basically claiming to replace N8N because of the beauty new way to do workflow automation. Number three is AI-powered video generation from tools like View3 to Kling, all these things. And as I'm mentioning this thing, I don't mean you need to learn everything. So, which is something that I realized that we kind of, would I say, overanalyze. So you want to learn AI automation, at the same time you want to learn design, at the same time you want to learn development. Like you're not a robot, even if you're using AI to do all of these things. But I would say it's okay to know the basic of one or two things, but you need to have like a core, something that you are the best at or you are very good at. Number six is AI voice cloning. We have to like 11 labs and the rest. Full stack development. You can take a screenshot of this so that you can probably check it out. This is like um, well-made research and also like my own intuition based on how I've been interacting with the industry this couple of like weeks and months. So that's all for my presentation. My goal for this talk is to basically speak to university students who are still in school that see you are beyond your degree, you are beyond your grades. You need skills that would set you ahead of your peers, skills that will even help you put you in different positions that you probably not be in on a regular day. And it's the same thing with graduates, where, for instance, I'm a graduate and I'm still learning skills, I'm still putting myself out there, and I'm still using the Adapt framework. So that's all for my session. Thank you very much. These are my socials if you want to connect, and yeah, let's have an amazing start
Thank you
conference.
very much, Damilare. I think we can take a few questions, right? So
All
if anyone
right.
has a question, please you can drop it in the chat box. I think for those that are also watching on YouTube right now, you can also drop them in the chat box. I'll be able to read them out. So does anyone have any question for Damilare? Or I think if Felicia is also still here,
Okay.
and I think John is also still here. So if you have any questions, we can just take. But I think specifically for Damilare, we can take. Does anyone have any questions? Amazing presentation, Damilare. I think
Thank you.
everyone has gotten an idea, especially I love the fact that you focus especially on, for the students in the house or people that are still in university, right? How they can actually be able to build their career or get ready using AI as well, because this is something that they would need while in school and even before they get into the real world, as they would say. So let
Yeah.
me see if there are any questions. Okay, I'm checking YouTube. I don't think I can see any. Let me check here as well. Okay, so no one has any questions.
All
Uh,
right.
it's
Thank
good.
you very much.
Uh, all right. Thank you very much, Damilare, for your time. I think you can also share in the chat box as well the direct links to your social media that you put in the slides as well. So maybe people can just directly click on it and follow you if you're interested in that. All right, so we're nearing almost the end of START conference, day 3, and even START conference in general. So I would like to welcome our last speaker for today. That is Gideon. Gideon will be speaking to us today about moving from execution to agency in the era of agentic AI. And Gideon is an AI and machine learning engineer with work experience in sectors like fintech, banking, and healthcare. He currently works at FCMB, and he is a 4X AWS community builder for machine learning, where he is involved in the AI ecosystem, sharing knowledge and driving community growth. All right, Gideon, can you hear me? Are you ready for us? Just to confirm, am I still audible, everyone?
Hello?
Okay. Hi, Gideon. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. The floor is yours. Are you ready for us, or?
Yes, I am.
All right. Waiting for you to share your screen and also um share your face as well. We'd love to also see who we're speaking with. Or are you having any issues so we can help? Hi, Gideon. Do you have any issues? Because you're muted.
No, sorry, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
All right. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gideon, and I would be starting my section now. So,
Hi, Gideon. You're muted. We can't hear you. Is that intentional or? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Just to be sure. Okay, yes, everyone can hear me. Hi, Gideon. We can't hear you. Your mic is muted from what we can see.
hello, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So sorry, my network, I had to change. My name is Gideon. I will just start and go faster so that I don't waste more time. So, my talk or discussion will be around moving from execution to agency in this current era of agentic AI. So, in summary, what my talk is geared towards is moving from doing the work to directing the work. So, moving from doers to directors in this current era of agentic AI. Today, I want to talk about one of the most important shifts happening in the current professional world, right? So I am into the system, working as an AI ML engineer, and I see how we are building new tools almost every week that is used internally in the bank, and I'm seeing how fast these things are going, and how fast we also be able to build tools, build systems, build products that, before now would have taken so much work and time to be able to achieve. So this shift is execution to agency, like I said. Um, for most of our careers, for most of us here, the value has always been coming from doing the work ourselves, right? I'll try to follow the slide and also, try to make it like a discussion session. So our careers have always been around doing the work ourselves. But today and the current era where we are, it's moving from doing the work yourself to directing systems that can do the work for you. You used to do it yourself. You used to make all of the stuff, you do in your role. But today, shifting towards directing systems, creating systems that actually do those work for you. Why is this shift? Some years ago, OpenAI released ChatGPT that we know for generative AI, and we can use it to generate content, tests, and use it for most of our research and personal tasks, right? But now everything has shifted, and it's still shifting, towards agentic AI, or what I like to call agency, right? Everything now it's gearing towards how these agents can act autonomously, help us do tasks, help us perform actions just by a simple orchestration. So that orchestration is what makes us the directors, just by setting up these flows or these systems and just orchestrating them anytime we want and having them do the task for us. So let's talk about the mental shift, right? The mental shift is more like an evolution kind of thing, right? From where we used to be, where we are, and where we are also going to, right? So traditionally, professionals like us, or students like us, or you know, graduates like us, or anything we do, right? We are often valued for execution. That's why they hire us. That's why we are in school. That's what they expect us to do in those research work or exam. That's what our employer wants us to do, right? The value that they look at for us is execution, completing task manually, step by step. They give you this task, you're able to do it and all that. But in the current agentic era, the value has shifted to orchestration, where you have those tasks, you just set out a system by maybe starting by defining a goal, setting up the system and just, orchestrating it and just watch it do the magic for you. And you just sit back and supervise the outcome, just like the director you are, right? So the question is no longer how fast can you do the work? The question has become how effectively can you design systems that do the work for you? Though in a short or in a short distant time, right? Most employments, most professional settings are not too, looking out for how fast you can do this. Some are already looking for how effectively you can be able to design systems that can do the work for you so that you move faster. So this mental shift has gone from doers to directors or orchestrators, and the end goal or the end result will probably be, for most of us, being strategists, design thinkers, people who have problem and just think how they can put different flows in place, design a workflow, and just push it to these agents and just sit back and supervise the outcomes. So I already spoke on this, but when you look at the whole shift and you look at the generative AI we are all used to and look at where it's going to, right? Before now, it's just more like send a prompt, get a response, single response, just use it to generate content for your task and all that. But now we are going into from single response to multi-step workflows, right? Multi-step workflows in that, now we can set up workflows that we can use to do repetitive tasks. We can reuse those workflows over and over again by just orchestrating them, by just, starting the flow and just see them, keep on doing those tasks we do repeatedly in our daily life or in our workplaces, right? So it's all about task execution and sitting back, looking at the outcomes, supervising it, and also, resetting the system to make it get better over time. So how you transition from execution to agency might be, some of the question or concern that most of us might have. So this is how I was able to break them down, right? This can go on a personal level case, but this is also like kind of a similar pattern we used like in our workplace. But the difference is that for the first one, we actually give out these, assignments or these tasks to those who are involved. So the first one is basically auditing your work, right? Looking at what you do, right, every day at work. Just take out a week and say, "Oh, from Monday, you just try to observe what you do at work or in school, right, or anywhere you find yourself, and try to identify repetitive tasks. What are those things that you do and do over and over again? And if you're able to note some of them down, right, you then start thinking about workflows, right? So what are the different workflows that I can put in place, right, to be able to solve this issue of this repetitive task, right? So one of the ways is to go very slow. Start with one, just a single task or a single process. Oh, okay. I um I am always given Excel sheets and I have to, do data entry, remove certain features and log it somewhere, every day new one. I have to remove certain, figures or values in maybe in invoices and log it somewhere in another table, right? Manually. So that could just be a single process you look at for, right? And start thinking, how do I delegate this to AI, right? How can I delegate this in such a way that I can be able to just a scenario where I can be able to just pass in this invoice, for example, and every time I pass it to this agent, right, it's able to do the work for me by maybe bringing out those exact values that I want and helping me to log them, somewhere that I also like, set up for it to, log those values from the invoice, right? So in that kind of system, right, you are just looking at something that you are just passing, that let's say invoice, that document, and watching it do what it does, and even with very very high amount of accuracy, more than you, because sometimes many mistakes are also made in those manual efforts. So like just like that, you can monitor, track over time, and also keep refining the whole flow until you come to the point where you know that okay, this flow is very very sufficient and very very stable for what I'm trying to do or what I want to use it for. And for this flow also, I'll be concluding with a very short demo just to also like just to also like show us how we have also applied this in real life. So I think the last thing before I round up with the demo is the skill shift for professionals, which I know is one of the main goal for this event also. So the most important skill in our career or in our businesses or in our lives, is no longer execution, it is orchestration, like I said from the beginning, right? And the earlier we make that shift, the greater, our leverages in terms of getting, into that workplace or getting that role, in terms of being better at our businesses, or in terms of staying competitive in our businesses, moving fast and launching those products or those idea or those campaign faster than your competitors. All depends on how we're able to key into this shift that is currently happening, because there will be like two different kind of people in the coming in the nearest future, right? And being in this other side of directing, going from execution to agency, setting up workflows that do repetitive tasks for us and handle most of what we do manually will really, really set us, apart. So that is what I think most we all have to like have in mind, right? Our job is no longer task execution, is now a system design. So with this, I would want to use um, a very um, case study present showcase for the last 2 or 3 minutes I have, and just shows a summary of everything I've been saying. So there is a problem, right? A sample problem, like in a workplace, let's say for a logistic company or a food restaurant company or whatsoever, but a company that deals with documents, right? So they have a lot of manual things they do, right? Not just about data entry, they also might have a part where they need to like validate documents, right? They might have a part where they need to like extract certain features in those documents, right? And be able to store it somewhere that they can use for other downstream processes like analysis and the rest for the data people here, right? This is a very challenging work some years ago, right? Especially for those who have experienced working with documents or doing data entry stuff or doing repetitive tasks around documents or handling of documents in workplaces, or even in institutions like in schools and or while doing research, right? So the solution is a scenario where we have this system that does this text, be able to handle these processes for us, right? Be able to understand the documents as if they are human. The way you are looking at a document and you're understanding not just the text in it, but you're also understanding like the images, the visuals, you have all the understanding of what you are seeing. That is the way this system is also, right? Is able to understand these documents and is able to, do the downstream task that you want it to do, whether it's passing out the test, whether it's validating the documents based on the validations you set, whether it's extracting and all of that, right? And the impact of this is 80% and above reduction in manual work in workplaces. So what I want to show this is just like a transition from a single workflow to a multiple workflow and so on. So I'm currently sharing a new screen, right? So this is this is the PaaS platform, right? So when we worked on this PaaS platform, it started with the playground, right? We want to be able to get something that is able to, process documents and be able to understand documents well enough to be able to help us get information that can be used for different downstream processing, whether it's for chatbots, whether it's for extracting and storing a database, whether it's for just our everyday task of trying to get information from a document or a load of documents, anything we want to do. But one thing also is that we also try to like put in that visual understanding, like I said, right? This first single flow, the agent is able to understand the document, is able to understand not just having to get out the text in the document, but it's also able to understand even the images on the document, right? The logos, the signatures, everything, right? So we also have like this layer box that is able to show the exact locations where this agent is extracting this information or this text from. So that way we try to use this to validate and also be sure of the accuracy of this agent, right? But this first approach is a first approach most of us can take after now in our daily life, right? Just a single flow that can do just a simple task for us, right? It could be just, oh, every time they submit a CAC document in my organization, right? They want me to extract certain information from it, like country of issuance, type of document, business registration number. They want me to extract this thing and put them in a table. So it can just be the simple use case you might be facing in your workplace, right? And in that way, you can be able to have a system like this, be able to take up that task of you putting up the document, putting what you want to extract from it, and it does the work for you. Here, for example, I can say I need the reg number and I need the company name, right? So with just this, I can be able to set up a flow that I can always be able to use, right? To, get this information and store them somewhere. So in this example, you can see I'm able to extract out the registration number and also the company name from this document. This is a single flow. Now, in conclusion, right, I'll end by saying the real benefit of this is now making it something that you can reuse, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to solve the issue of repetitive task, right? And this thinking after this first stage that we're able to conquer is what brought about the pass flow, which I will end with, right? So the goal is design a system that I can just set up this and I can reuse it. So for example, anytime I come here and I upload, I have a flow I have already set up, I upload a CSV document, it should be able to, just give me back the data I have set, already for it to always extract for me, put it in maybe let's say Excel, and I can download it and just submit. And that's the end. My work is done for that day, right? Saves me stress of using the whole day to be taking up the documents manually and be looking for certain information and keying them somewhere in an Excel sheet or something, right? So this flow, I can say CAC talk and I hit continue. That's for flow one, right? I'm trying to set up a flow that I can always reuse, right? And here I can choose that CSV document and go to pass and continue. So what I'm doing here is doing the passing, that's the document processing, right? And be able to get all the information that is in that document. And after this, the next step is now defining the things I want to extract. Let's say what your organization always take out from CAC is name of company, registration number, and registration date, right? You're able to define those things and have them there, and you can that's like the setting you have put there, and you can always reuse that same workflow. So this is done passing. How many minutes do I have? I think time is always up. Um, so why this process? One other thing to also note is that the 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 agency as a term, right, is also like something that is very, very high in adoption, especially in workplaces, right? As I've seen firsthand of how it's able to like differentiate most people from others, especially in hiring processes, right? And one of the things I've also seen it firsthand, really, really eating deeply currently is roles like data analysis, right? Not to scare those who are into data analysis here, but most of the tasks around analyzing data, querying data, business insights has really, really, really been automated so deeply with AI and most recent agentic AI orchestrations, right? And it's also put to question of how most of us can start also rethinking our roles. If maybe I'm in data analysis, how do I look forward and incorporate AI into what I do, and how do I scale up and see that it is also like um giving benefit to the things I do, and I'm also staying relevant in my workplace, because there is really, really a reduction in roles around that area because of the way that these current tools that we are building out have been really, really suppressing some of the tasks that those people need to do. So this is delaying. I don't know why. I will just leave it and continue what I'm doing. Let me remove this. Let me try this again for the last time. Sorry. So while I'm trying to process this last one, I think if there is any question, it can be dropped in the chat, and yeah, I can also be able to pick them up. Okay, so I've been able to upload and pass. So this is where this is the third step, which is where I set out the things I want to extract from the document, right? And there are four options here. You can use the AI suggested schema. We can use the can also put manually, right? You can also like put in normal prompt if you are not technical and you're not used to JSON, right? You can just say in this CSV document, things we want to, be able to, since my role always let me like extract from the documents are things like the company name, the registration number, right? And maybe dates of registration, right? I can see dates of registration. Yeah, let me see dates of reg, right? And I can try to, generate this. So here I can see I have my company name, registration number, and dates of registration. Once I have this schema, right, set up, I can just now complete the flow by doing extraction. So this last step is review and export. Here you can see that from that document, we're able to have all these extracted, right? And we can export them. So, but the beauty of this is that now we have this workflow saved here that we can reuse anytime. So whenever I come to this workflow, I can just easily, upload, I can just easily upload a CAC document and just have it process it and you know process it and give me that the output that is it was able to extract from that document. So that way we can always reuse this. So I don't need to I don't need to always I don't need to always set up a flow or do it manually again. Anytime I come to this dashboard, I upload a CAC and it just extract those values I want. And I can just download the Excel file and submit it. Maybe let's say it's a task and just upload the Excel file and submit it, and that's the end of the work. So this flow is the idea of having a workflow that is reusable, right? It can now reuse it for other documents and for every other flow that you would always want to do with working with CSC documents. So this is where my demo would end for today, and I think this platform is also like open right now. You can go check it out and try out for those who want to start also automating this kind of similar processes. Can also go check it out and try it out. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Gideon. Just to confirm, are you done with your presentation, or do you still want to add something?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, all
I
right. So
can, unless there is any question.
yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Does anyone have any questions? Please drop them in the chat box. I think I can see one on YouTube. Or okay, I don't know if this question is for this question is for on YouTube is for another speaker, and I think Dami has dropped off the call. Let me just confirm. Yes. Does anyone have any specific questions for Gideon? Will be much appreciated. Let us know. All right, all right. I think in the absence of none, Gideon, thank you so much for your time. For an amazing presentation as well. I can see some feedback in the chat box. Some people saying that they enjoyed the session and it was really nice and interesting. So I think you can also drop your LinkedIn or social media, anyone that you prefer. I think also to the demo that you were actually speaking about for people to also check it out if they're interested as well. And if they have any specific questions or any other things that they want, they would share with you. And for those that are asking for slides, I think you can also send an email to community at allschoolafrica.com, and then you can specifically request for maybe the slide from a particular speaker that you want, and we'll be able to share with you as well. Right. All right. All right. So yes, I think this is a wrap for sTaRt Conference 2026. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking out time to join. I think for those that are still here, if you joined us from day one, I would like to see the OGs, the people that joined us from day one. You were here for day one, day two, day three. Say hi in the chat box. I would like to know the OGs that joined us for all 3 sessions. Shout out to you for everyone that took out time to join. We really appreciate you taking out time to join. We know that it's not it was voluntary, right? And it also took data from you as well. I really appreciate your support and your time being here as well. A big, 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 big thank you to you. We do not take it for granted. Also, as usual, for those that know, we have a discount code for the ongoing course, which is start 26. So if you have friends or family that are looking to get into old school, we have a discount code for the application fee. They can use it. It's going to just run till the end of this week, I believe. Right. So please refer your friends and family as well. The ongoing course applications are still ongoing. And yes, they'll be starting in March. So do make use of this while you can. I hope all the sessions were worth it. They were worth your time. Please check your emails. We also would, send you the links for those that maybe missed. If you missed a particular session, or if you missed day one or day two, or you just even want to watch a particular session, the links, if you registered, and even to our in-house community, the links are available. We'll share them. And if maybe you did not get the email, you can always reach out to us or to me at community at allschoolafrica.com, and we'll be happy to share you the replay or the links for the sessions. They're also available on YouTube as well. So you can rewatch day one, day two, day three, or watch specific sessions if you missed. We had amazing, amazing speakers, Emmanuel Faith, Daniel. I can go on and on. We had each day we had about 5 to 6 speakers, and they were each one of these speakers had very interesting and key things to let us know about. And I hope it was worth your time. I can see people saying that it was worth their time. If you also have specific questions, please, like I said, feel free to reach out to some of these speakers. You can just go to our social media, and you can also check the speakers and just search them on LinkedIn and reach out to them as well. Okay, I think on YouTube, some people are asking for the link. I think I'll drop that now. I'm coming. The link for the demo. Okay, let me drop it for you guys as well. Yes, for those asking, the link for our sessions for sTaRt Conference will still be available on YouTube as well. So yes. So, all right, I think we can call it a wrap for sTaRt 2026. Thank you, everyone. Tabby is in another session, right? That's why she couldn't be here to end today on a high for everyone. But we really appreciate everyone that took out time to join today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A big, 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 big thank you to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And yes, we'll see you some other time. Bye, everyone.